Okay, tip number one for protecting your energy as a business owner. And my tip number one is your time boundaries. Oh, this is one of my favorite tips to share with you. And I want to share some thoughts before we get into the tips on how to protect your time. Okay. So being an entrepreneur has its perks, right? And one of the perks is that we have additional time freedom. We're not clocking in. We don't have a boss to answer to. And we have all of this time freedom, especially if you're like me and you're in network marketing. We even have even more time freedom, or that's the story that we're told. We're going to have all of this time freedom, right? But for some of us, the time freedom starts to not be the benefit, but it starts to be the downfall. Right. And that's because we don't have a set time. And what we find ourselves doing is working all the time, constantly answering the emails, constantly answering the text messages, always having our notifications on, and all of that kind of stuff. Right. And so my first tip for you is how to create more boundaries with your time that will in turn protect your energy. Okay. Because I don't want your entrepreneurship and running a business to run your life. You're doing this most likely for time freedom. And so how do we put boundaries on our time? Okay. Number one, to put boundaries on our time is to create working hours. Okay. As I'm recording this video, I'm into about 2 weeks of summer vacation with my kids. And I just revamped my entire summer schedule to include the fun they want to have, to include my workouts, to include what I want to have in my life so that I do have boundaries on my time. And one of my biggest tips to start your boundaries with your time is to create a list of what you prioritize in your life. Okay. So for me, my priorities in my life are as I want to get a workout in every day. And that's not just for me, that's for our kiddos and my husband as well. So our health, our physical health is a number one priority for our family. Sitting around the table at night to eat dinner is another priority that we have. Fun and quality time as a family is another priority. Eating healthy is a priority for us. I love my sleep. So my 8 to 9 hours of sleep is a priority, and my business is a priority, and getting in at least 3 to 4 hours every single day, or the average of that for the week, every single day. And so knowing what your priorities are is going to help a lot with the boundaries on your time. So first thing I want you to do is create a list of priorities and know that that list can shift often. And so I actually review my priorities monthly, weekly, daily, yearly, because they're constantly shifting. And I might have one week that is a little bit busier than others, and another week where I might have more quiet time and reflection time with our family. If you haven't checked out any of my stuff on cyclical living, you're probably going to want to, because how I actually dictate my time boundaries is through where I'm at in my menstrual cycle and where the moon's at. I know, might sound crazy, but it actually works and makes the most sense to me. So again, I can be that high productive person and then that low productive person. What I see, because there are times I need to rest. Rest needs to be built in as well. Okay. Now, there are times that I see, or I've caught myself constantly checking my phone, constantly checking my notifications. We're going to talk about a lot of that in the next video. But when it comes to time, you don't have to always be available, right? And when you create time boundaries, people start to honor them, and they start to know, Katie doesn't check email after 6 p.m., but if I need, she'll get back to me in the morning. You don't constantly have to be on call for everybody. The world is not going to fall apart. Business etiquette is still 2 to 3 days to business days to respond to people via email or text, or that social media channel that you might be they might be following you on. You do not have to get back to people right away. We have become this instant gratification society, and what it does, where I see it really affecting us as entrepreneurs, is that we think we always need to be available. So my last tip on this, as we relate it to our energy. Another activity that you could do is you have your priorities, but also know when you are at your peak productivity hours and base your time boundaries on what works for you and not necessarily for other people in your life. Okay. So here's an example that I think will help you. I coach a team of thousands of people, okay? And the majority of people, the best time for them to hop on a call or hop on a webinar or to have that highest engagement, if I was doing a Zoom call, is between 7 and 8 p.m. at night. And between 7 and 8 p.m. at night, my energy is that. That is not my highest productivity hours. My highest productivity hours are going to be first thing in the morning. Okay, I'm actually doing this video at 9:30 a.m. because that is when I have the most energy, I'm vibing high, and I'm not blah, 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 blah. So how I look at it is, so I don't do team calls after 6 p.m. and my team knows that. And guess what? I still have a flourishing business because I'm basing it on my time and what works for me, not everybody else. Okay. So hopefully these tips will be helpful for you to start to rethink where you're looking at your time and where do you want to take back more of your time? Are you constantly seeing yourself on a schedule, and start to create a schedule for your office hours and your working hours that are based on the priorities in your life. Okay. So hopefully that tip helped you today, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more information on screens and notifications. Can't wait.